Come with us as we explore Scandinavia.
Today, we're in Denmark on the island of Bornholm, and we're going to check out the city of Ronne. Let's go. The first of our visits is to the Sunshine Island of Bornholm, Denmark. This has become a more visited cruise port in recent years since it invested to expand the bay in 2018 and can now accept larger sized cruise ships. On today's episode, we're going to tell you what you can see if you have one day in the capital of Ronne on the island of Bornholm. And I guess before we even dive into discussing this city and this island, we had booked a cruise to see various ports of call in the Baltic Scandinavia area. And I just assumed when we saw cities listed as Denmark that they were on the mainland of Denmark. I had no idea before we went to this part of the world how many islands there were between, off of the coast of Denmark, off of the coast of Sweden.
I forget the number of them, but it was
a lot.
It was a lot. It kind of, your jaw just went, what?
Yeah. My first surprise on this cruise was learning that our first port of call, which was going to be Ronne, was actually on an island. And to Ronne we went. So tell us about Ronne, Julie.
Ronne is a city that is on the island of Bornholm in Denmark. It is a picturesque, beautiful little town that has so much history in it that dates back all the way to the 13th century. As the largest city on Bornholm, Ronne has been a vital port for centuries, has a huge maritime heritage, and that is evident in the cobblestone streets, half-timbered houses, and the renowned Ronne Harbor. The small town has a rich past that intertwines with seafaring traditions and has a strategic importance during certain times in history. Today, Ronne has evolved into a charming little destination that welcomes visitors, and now with the larger ships, they have quite a few more visitors. And it has this unique blend of this old world allure, but it does have the modern comforts of today.
So early one morning, our cruise ship came into the harbor at Ronne, and we were excited to set foot for the first time on Denmark. Neither you or I had been to Denmark before. When we got off the cruise ship, there were shuttles that were available to take people from the cruise ship into the city center, but we opted to walk as it was pretty close. It was walkable from the cruise ship to the city. And we were probably among some of the first people off the ship.
Yes, it was earlier in the morning, and it was very evident as we were walking into the city that it was early in the morning because the streets were virtually empty and nothing was open.
Yeah, so we walked into the city center from the cruise port, as you said, early in the morning, and just kind of, took in the quietness of the streets, admired the brightly colored tiny homes. They were pretty tiny, but they were very colorful gardens in front of the houses.
The homes were colorful, but they kept the same color tones throughout the whole city.
Yep. There were bright tones like yellows and oranges.
The gold yellows and orange and reds. Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah. So as we wandered around, we were able to see that the town center offers a variety of shops, cafes, and restaurants. It's a place you can indulge in local delicacies, shop for unique crafts and design items, or enjoy some coffee while people watching. There's numerous shops in town, and this place kind of reminded me of a Danish city we have here in Southern California. It's called Solvang, California. And it's a little piece of Denmark in California. If you're ever in the Western United States, you may want to add that to your list. Or you can go see the real thing for yourself and go to Denmark and Europe. Yep.
Thank you, Ronne, for providing a bathroom for us. That's great.
Yeah, so in this town of Ronne, there are free bathrooms, so it does help to get the map of the area, and then they're clearly marked where they're located. and they're free. So we didn't know if we were going to need to deposit some krona, which we did not have to do.
Have any, so that would have been difficult.
Mine was clean. Was yours clean?
Yes.
Yeah. So clean bathrooms, free bathrooms. So that's a good thing to know. And now we're off to, I think, the Bornholm Museum. Here we go. Yeah. As we were walking around, we did have a few things on our list of things to do that we wanted to check out during our day in the city.
So as we have always done, we are very interested in the history of the places that we go to. And if you enjoy history, then plan to stop at the Bornholm Museum. It offers deep insight into the unique cultural heritage and fascinating history of Bornholm Island.
And then we have a bicycle exhibition because we are very proud. very, very, very proud because we have Magnus Kort, who is starting in Tour de France today.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yes, and we have his bicycle.
The museum is a treasure trove of artifacts, exhibits, stories that span from the Stone Age through the Viking Age, the Middle Ages, and even into contemporary times. So it's a small museum that has quite a bit packed into it.
Yeah, very broad history that they present there.
Yeah.
Yep.
The museum provides a very comprehensive guide to understanding the island's past, its evolution over the thousands of years that it has existed. So a very fascinating place. I really enjoyed that. So the museum was our first stop and one of the main stops that we walked into as businesses were starting to open up around the city center. When you enter, you'll see detailed presentations of Bornholm's Viking heritage, which includes many Viking artifacts. It's amazing how many they have, actually. They have tools, they have weapons, there's jewelry. These items paint a vivid picture of the lives of these ancient seafarers who once inhabited this island. The intricately designed Bornholm clocks are among the museum's prized collections. It is a testament to the island's craftsmanship. We saw so many grandfather clocks in this exhibit. There was so many in this one little room. It was so hard to take it all in because they were so intricate and they had so many designs on them and they were really beautiful.
Yeah, works of art.
Yeah.
And it kind of reminds me, I remember when I was a kid, probably when both of us were younger, grandfather clocks were a feature that was probably more common. I hardly ever see them anymore, at least where we live. So they're a rarity. Anymore.
Houses aren't really designed for that. It's something known in Bornholm, which began on a stormy night in November of 1744 from a ship that was stranded, and there was a clockmaker on it. The ship departed from Amsterdam, which is famous for clockmaking, and headed for now Tallinn, Estonia. It was carrying loads of English long case clocks, and he ended up in Bornholm and became a craftsman here. His name was Otto Arbo, and that's how it began here. The curators, they very proudly presented an exhibit showcasing the importance of bicycles in the area. This is something that is very important to Bornholm, to the city of Ronne.
They're very proud of their bicycling
Very proud
heritage.
of it. Why? Because this included information on professional cyclists from Denmark. During our visit, they had a local rider present Bornholm and Denmark in the Tour de France. So this is a proud moment for Bornholm and for Denmark. The museum's ethnographic collection provides a glimpse into the everyday lives of Bornholm inhabitants, showcasing traditional costumes, household items, children's toys, and their fishing and farming implements. The museum also delves into Bornholm's strategic military importance through the centuries, illustrated by exhibits on the island's fortifications and its role in various regional conflicts. Among the military exhibits was the history of Russian presence during World War II. During that time, the Germans made their presence on the island, but then the Russians were said to liberate, quote unquote, this area And they continued communication, or shall we say propaganda campaign, to make sure the locals didn't forget that Russia saved them from the evil invaders. This was followed by an interesting exhibit about the Cold War and its impact on Denmark.
Yeah, I found that really interesting because I didn't realize that there was this German and Russian presence on the island. You know, we had heard, I think, growing up about World War II and obviously everything that happened in Poland and France and England on the mainlands of Europe. But I didn't realize that some of this extended into these island areas too. So pretty fascinating information.
Yeah, I think it's because of the strategic areas that Denmark is located in.
Yeah.
So it's all a lot of water-based ports and areas. This visit to this museum lasted 90 minutes, approximately, touring the museum's 3 floors. Most explanations were in Danish. A few had English, but most did not. There were placards available in some of the rooms available in English, but not in all of them. There was a big mix of things to see, but I didn't have any issues with language.
Yeah.
I think we got through it very well.
Yeah, there was so much to take in visually, and I think we were able to kind of piece information together from what we were seeing. So I highly recommend this museum if you find yourself in the city. As you mentioned, a very broad history, very well presented, and you spend an hour and a half in there and you walk away with a better understanding of the city and its history.
Yeah.
We just came out of the Bornholm Museum, so spent about an hour and a half in there.
Yeah, they had 3 floors. Lots of different types of exhibits.
Yeah. Most of the exhibits, the explanations were, and I guess it's Danish that they probably speak here. A few of them had English, but most of them did not. And there was these...
explanations, little placards.
Yeah, placards in some of the rooms that were available in English, but those were not available in all of them. But, you know, like you said, with 3 floors and quite a few things to see. Hour and a half. And now we're going to go check out what's next in Ronne. Here we go.
See you there. Our next visit was to St. Nicholas Church. This was one of the first buildings from the cruise port area that you could see. It's very prominent from the port. We stopped inside this Lutheran evangelical church, which has stood on these grounds for over 700 years. The historic church stands as a testament to the enduring faith and community spirit of Bornholm. Its distinguishing features include a strikingly well-preserved medieval fresco adorning the interior walls. The church's architecture blends Romanesque and Gothic styles with a robust tower that dominates the skyline in Ronne, serving as a beacon for the town. Inside, the sea traditions of the local people are seen through ships that dangle like lamps over your head. Numerous artifacts dating back to the 15 and 1600s, and numerous impressive glass mosaics. The wooden altar is a creation of the renowned Christian Kofed, crafted in 1918. Adorned with the serene image of the Agnus Dei, the Lamb of God, carrying the triumphant flag of victory, this masterpiece is not just an altar, but a silent storyteller of faith and artistry. Perched above the altar is a stirring painting of the artist Sven Hofstein Mikkelsen. This depiction of Jesus calming the stormy seas captures a biblical moment which reminds worshipers that we can find tranquility even when the storms of life roar at their fiercest. St. Nicholas Church is not only a place of worship, but also a cultural landmark that hosts concerts and events, enriching the spiritual and cultural life of the community. The church received its first organ in 1638 and has since had about 9 changes in instruments. The most recent was installed in 2010, which introduced a sound control system capable of producing over 7,600 sound combinations from the organ. Every year, the church hosts organ concerts with organists worldwide. We stopped at St. Nicholas Church, which is one of kind of the landmarks of the area, and it's pretty old. It dates quite far back. I saw the first pastor It's a Lutheran church, but I saw the first pastor was early 1500s. That's a recorded time. So it's been around for a while. I don't know if it's been rebuilt. Everything is in the Danish language, so we're not sure. Okay, so now we're hungry and we're wandering back to Ronne's main town square. This is the heart of this small town. It's a very vibrant market square. Stalls display lots of food offerings, fresh produce, and artisanal crafts. Carnivores, which is not us, will find plenty of sausages, and when you're in Denmark, you may want to go for one of their famous hot dogs. We watched the hot dog vendors make the unique hot dog in a hole in the bread hot dogs. Those are super popular in Denmark, we would soon find out.
Yeah, we just spent some time watching them make these things. We don't eat them,
Yeah.
but they looked fascinating. They looked interesting, and there was lines to these little stands. The stands were all over Denmark. They love their hot dogs.
They're very cylindrical.
Yes.
And the hot dog goes right down the hole in the middle of it.
Yes,
It's very interesting.
yes.
That was interesting.
With the hot dog in the hole.
You put the hot dog in the hole.
Yeah.
We did find some open-faced sandwiches at the street market, but they were of it's like a bruschetta. They had eggplant and olives on it, so it felt more Italian-like.
Yep.
So, but that's all we could find in the open market at that point.
For our palate.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is. I don't think this is the traditional Danish open-faced sandwich, but it looked good.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
So as we wandered this market square, most people enjoyed lunchtime with beers, sitting outside at the restaurant tables that were along the square area. It was really, really nice weather. We also got a chance to listen to some live music in the square.
Ice cream, you scream. Everybody wants ice cream.
There are lots of bikes in town. This is the primary form of transportation. We also saw an upright bass player haul his bass and amp away on a bike with this handmade front trailer attached to it.
Yeah, it fascinated me.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Well, it was fascinating.
Yeah. I got some photos. I think I
Yeah.
probably got some video. I was trying to be a little bit stealth, but I've never seen a bicycle trailer quite like that was able to haul a huge upright bass. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
it was a huge upright bass, and the amp wasn't small either.
Yeah. That's the way you do it in Ronne.
What the heck? I almost lost you. I thought you were going in. If I didn't look up, I would have been in and we would have been lost.
I don't want to go in there.
Okay. What did it go through through the elf door?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just went into the store called Normal, which is like, what do you call, like a pharmacy-ish drug, kind of like a Walgreens-ish, without the drugs.
Without the pharmacy.
Yeah. And what did you notice at Normal?
It was IKEA in a smaller form because you go in one way and you have to maze through the whole thing before you get to the checkout.
There's no aisles for shortcuts.
No.
You literally have to go through the entire store in a maze.
Yes. It's IKEA.
Clever, because you have to see everything.
It's clever.
I'm kind of glad
Very clever.
we don't have that at home. That's our... Oh, and then we have one other thing. I saw this can of stuff called Vanish. And so my question is, how come we say vanish with a V, but when you put a D in front of the word, it's not Danish, we say Danish?
Why is your W in Polish?
Because all W's in Polish are V.
Yes?
Yes, so that makes sense. But in English, it should be either Danish and Vanish or Vanish and Danish. And that would make everything easier, but we complicate everything. Anyways,
Okay.
here we go.
We finished our day in Ronne by walking down and visiting the harbor area. This is where you can watch fishing boats and sea vessels. They're coming and they're going. This is the part of the town's maritime ambiance. The waterfront was very nice, peaceful stroll That was a great end to
Yep.
our visit at Ronne.
Yeah. Before we leave Ronne and Denmark, today we do have a few fun facts about Denmark. Denmark has the oldest flag in the world. Their flag dates back to the year 1219, and it remains the oldest country flag that's still in use by an independent nation.
And as we mentioned before, Denmark is the land of islands. Denmark has 444 islands, but of those, only 76 are inhabited. Bornholm is one of the most popular island retreats.
And when it comes to government, Denmark has the oldest monarchy in the world, and it's more than 1,000 years old. So that wraps up our visit to Ronne. We were there for 1 day. If you're just doing the old town, I'd suggest the Bornholm Museum, doing a bit of wandering will fill up your day nicely. 5 to 6 hours is probably plenty of time to get a sense of what this small town offers. It is a very small town, so you can soak it up in not a lot of time.
We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope that it has helped you with some valuable tips for spending your day in Ronne on Bornholm, Denmark.
If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. And to see our future travel adventures, hit the subscribe option.
We'll be back soon with more adventures from the places where we go.